Please welcome one of the world's top motivational speakers, a governor of the Vancouver Board of Trade and publisher and CEO of Canada-wide magazines, Peter Legge.
Now, Quebecor World are a Canadian company headquartered in Montreal. They are the second largest printer in the world. They decided last year that they would appoint Brian Mulroney as the chair of their international board. And his first order of business was to invite his clients or their clients from Canada, United States, and Mexico to New York so we could meet Brian and meet the other members of the international board. Now, we're their biggest client in Vancouver, so my wife and I were on the invitation list. Off we go to New York. Now, there's only 6 Canadians. We're at the Park Plaza Hotel. Now, if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. It is as beautiful and as ornate and as ostentatious as you would ever want to see. The Palm Room is to die for. 350 delegates, 6 Canadians. We're in the ballroom. It's even more ornate than the rest of the hotel. So I'm sitting with the Canadians, all at the same table. Big surprise, eh? And I happen to be sitting right next to Brian Mulroney. Waiters and waitresses pouring wine, water, butter, buns, the whole 9 yards. They're in their suits and tuxedos. And this one waiter gets in front of Brian, and Brian says, "May I have another piece of butter, please?" And the waiter said, "No." He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, "May I have another piece of butter, please?" And again, the waiter says, "No." So I jump into action. I said, "Hey, do you have any idea who this is? This is Brian Mulroney, chairman of the board, Quebecor World. He's the reason 350 delegates from Canada, the United States, and Mexico are here. He is, in fact, our host. And for me, a Canadian, he was once my prime minister, and when he was prime minister, he was in charge of everything." And the waiter said to me, "Well, do you have any idea who I am?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, I'm in charge of butter." And so one of the questions I hope that we answer tonight is, who really is in charge of you? Who is in charge of your attitude? Who is in charge of your countenance? Who is in charge of the way you dress? Who is in charge of your habits? Who is in charge of your attitude? Who is in charge of your moods? Who is in charge of the books you read? Who is in charge of your success and the success that you desire? And I hope that we come to the inescapable conclusion that it is you who must take full and total responsibility for your life, for your success, for your dreams and your visions and those goals that you ultimately wish to accomplish. You are in charge of you, just like I am in charge of me. So what are you looking for when you hire a professional speaker? Well, when you hire me, you are hiring one of the most accomplished professional speakers on the circuit. Just about every organization in the world has recognized the skill that I bring to the platform. Toastmasters International awarded me the Golden Gavel Award winner. They just give that to 1 speaker per year. National Speakers Association United States awarded me the CPAE, which puts me into the Hall of Fame in the United States with some very exclusive company. The Canadian Association of Professional Speakers put me into their Hall of Fame. I have just about every speaking award going. So I know what I'm talking about because I've got 3,000 performances on the platform behind me. And I bring that to you, to your audience, and to your guests. I've just released a new book called The Runway of Life. It's not quite a bestseller yet, but it will be. It's on its way. So tonight when you get home or tomorrow morning before you go to the office, just take a piece of paper and draw a line from one side to the other, as straight as you can. And on the left-hand side of the line, you put 0. That's when you were born, 0. Then on the right-hand side of the line, you put the age you think you will be when you meet your maker. I put 85 on mine. So my runway of life is 0 to 85. Yours might be longer, yours might be shorter. There is no right or wrong answer. Whatever you put, that is your runway of life. Now what I want you to do is proportionately on that page, on that line, mark your current age. I'm 63. So I'm perhaps further down the line than some of you. Maybe there's some of you that are not as far down the line as me. It doesn't make any difference. Your runway of life, or my runway of life, is from 63 to 85. Because what's on the left-hand side from 63 back to 0 is prologue, is history, is past. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't change one solitary thing about my past. I can learn from it, but I can't change it. I can only affect from today forward, or in my case, on my runway of life, from 63 to 85. That's 22 Christmas dinners, 22 birthdays, 22 wedding anniversaries, 22 year ends at Canada-wide magazine, 22 ISIS annual meetings, 22 seasonal somethings. So what am I going to do with it? So if I'm responsible for what I'm going to do with it, then I'm responsible for the deliveries. My company, Canada-wide Magazine, celebrates its 30th anniversary this year, and we have never once lost money. We started with one small magazine called TV Week Magazine. It's only circulated in British Columbia, and today we have grown to be the largest independent magazine publisher in Western Canada. We have 33 different titles. We produce 20 million different copies a year through Western Canada. I know what it takes to be successful, and I've taken these qualities that it takes to build this company and related them to my speeches so that I can inspire your audience and your guests and your members of your staff to do exactly the same thing. We need to find our passion, and then we need to live our passion. Because when your passion intersects with your God-given gifts, you are literally unstoppable. When your passion intersects with your God-given gifts, you are literally unstoppable. And you can't tell the difference between work and play. Am I working tonight or am I playing tonight? Is this my craft? Am I doing this because I love it? Because I hope that you will be energized, that you would see something in your life that perhaps you could change for the better? I'm excited about what I'm doing. When we came to Canada, my father told me, you need to serve the community with your gifts, your time, and your talent, and sometimes give them money. I've been doing that for some 30 years. I've worked with St. John Ambulance, the Canadian Red Cross, the Variety International, doing the telethon for 27 years, and we've raised over $100 million. I think that gives me even more credibility in the community, gives me more credibility in the marketplace. Serve your community. When I'm on the platform, I am heavy set on being a performer. I tell stories that are relative. I tell stories that inspire, that motivate, that have people think, that cause them to be emotionally involved in what I'm saying so that they can then turn around the next day or the next week and be better at their profession, better at selling their services, better at doing the job that you want them to do, no matter where they are in this world. It happened to be my middle daughter's birthday, Rebecca. And it was her birthday. I hadn't talked to her all day, but I wasn't too worried about that because we always have a family get-together on the Sunday. And so I got home at 10 to 7, and I was tired. It was a long day, and I put on my jeans and my running shoes and my sweatshirt, and I finally got a hold of Rebecca, and I said, "Hi, sweetie pie, how you doing? Happy birthday." She said, "Well, it's about time you phoned, Dad." She said, "Because you only had a couple of hours, and my birthday was over, and if I hadn't have talked to you, you would have been in big trouble." And I could hear in the background that she was probably at a restaurant. It sounded like a restaurant. And I said, "Well, where are you?" She said, "Well, I'm at a restaurant downtown Vancouver. We live in Coquitlam, 40-minute drive." And I said, "Well, who's going to be there?" She said, "Well, your other two daughters and the gang. 10 of us. The gang, all the kids that have hung around the house and mucked around the house for years are going to be there." And then she said these words, "Why don't you join us?" So what did I say? I'm tired. A long day. I knew we had a family get-together on Sunday. I said, no, it's a long drive. It's 40 minutes. I got to get cleaned up. And then I thought, I think maybe I need to make a different decision. So I made some excuse and I hung up the phone. I raced upstairs. I jumped in the shower. I took off my clothes first. I jumped in the shower. I scrubbed up good, put on some nice stuff, got in the car, drove the 40 minutes to downtown Vancouver, and walked into the restaurant at 8:05. And there was my daughter, Rebecca, the birthday daughter, and my other two daughters, and all the kids that have hung around our house for all these years. And we had a 3.5-hour birthday party that was absolutely fantastic. Now, I picked up the tab. You would expect me to do that, right? And on the drive home, I said to myself, that was a really good decision, Peter. Because if you're lucky, you might only get asked to do that 21 more times. Go forward. Be the best you can be at whatever it is. But live your runway of life. As Helen Keller said, if life isn't an adventure, it is nothing. Make it an adventure. Start now, tomorrow morning. God bless you. Thank you very much.